Is this happening to you? Then you're in the right place for video game training. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to easily defeat Champion Gundyr. First of all, I'll just show you our setup and our character's stats. We're using the Sharp Sellsword Twin Blades plus 10, and a sharp version of a weapon will increase in damage with a higher dexterity stat. We're also using the Grass Crest Shield for increased stamina regen, and a small leather shield equipped ready to parry. The main strat that we're going to be using in this video is parrying. Any shield that has a small round icon in the bottom left hand corner of its picture can parry, but in general, smaller shields are better at parrying. This is why we use the small leather shield to parry instead of the Grass Crest Shield. And this is because the small leather shield has a higher opportunity for the parry to work than the Grass Crest Shield does. To give you an example for comparison with the parries and the parry frame window, a medium shield would have 6 frames where a parry would be successful, a small shield will have 10 frames where a parry will be successful, and a parry shield would have 12 frames where a parry would be successful. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the differences there. We're also using Flynn's Ring, which increases our attack when our equipment load is lower, Lloyd's Sword Ring, which increases our attack when our HP is full, Pontiff's Right Eye, which increases attack as long as attacking persists, and Chloranthy Ring for increased stamina regen. We're also going to be using some lightning resin because Champion Gundyr is weak to lightning. These are my character's stats. Our character is level 71 with 54 dexterity. Don't worry too much if you've not got this exact setup and this exact character level. I'm just showing you this so you can see what we're working with in this video. As you start the fight, apply the lightning resin and run up to Gundyr. We've got the Grass Crest Shield on our backs at first. I usually go for 3 attacks at first and then roll backwards and switch out the Grass Crest Shield for the small shield. Depending on what the first attack is that he does, you might be able to get a parry straight away. A lot of these parries might take a little bit of time and practice, but once you've practiced them a few times, you'll get them down. The bonfire for this fight is very close, so if you do die, it doesn't take very long to get back. Essentially, you want to be focusing on parrying the halberd in this fight. Some of his halberd attacks are faster and some of them are slower. It's a lot easier to parry the slower halberd attacks because the slower ones have a wind up and you can see him about to do his attack. After you've got the parry, you can actually get 1 extra strike if you hit him in the side of his head and then move closer to get the riposte. If you do that right, you can actually get both attacks in. If you want to play this the safest way, I tend to run away and roll through his faster attacks and then look out for his slower attacks and make sure to parry them. After you've got his health down to about halfway, he will change into phase 2 and his eyes will glow red. He'll also become a lot faster and more aggressive. Usually the best thing to do for phase 2 is to run away from him and try to bait some attacks that we're easily able to parry. One of the easiest moves to parry is where he runs towards you charging with his halberd and then does a spin and slams the halberd down on the ground. The time to parry is when he does his spin. When you see him change from that charging forward animation into his spin around animation, you want to be pressing left trigger to use parry. If timed correctly, you'll get the parry, leaving him open for you to attack. Again, you can get in 1 extra attack at the side of his head and then go for the riposte. There's a pretty decent time window on that riposte window. This is why we can get in the extra attack. You can practice and play around with different type of attacks to parry as well, but usually this charge forward and spin is the easiest one to parry. If you see the attack where he stood still and kind of does a wind up, this one's quite easy to parry as well, so look out for that one. After you've done the riposte, you'll want to create some distance between you and Gundyr again, so make sure to run away. Again, this will usually bait him into doing that charge forward attack, which is the one that we're looking for. If you've taken some damage at any point in the fight and you want to heal up, usually the best time to heal up is actually after completing a parry. So instead of going for a riposte after the parry, you can actually just use the Estus Flask. With enough practice, time and patience, you'll have this fight mastered in no time. Hopefully you found this guide useful and it helped you out in some way. If it did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.